Welcome to NinjaCast, a photography podcast powered by Studio Ninja, the world's highest-rated business management app, built specifically for photographers. Listen and learn as the most successful photographers on the planet share their knowledge to help you transform every element of your photography business. Here's your host, Sally Shaw.
Hi guys, welcome to NinjaCast. Today I'm joined by the incredible Yotam from ImagenAI. Now ImagenAI is your personalised photo editing assistant, all run via a desktop app in Lightroom. Now I know what you're thinking, how can anybody possibly send their images off to an automated system and they're going to come back looking exactly like you want them to? I've tried and tested this myself and I was absolutely blown away, so I'm really excited for you guys to see what's on offer. Let's get started. Hi, Yotam. Hi, Zoe. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. What's up?
I'm really good. Thank you. Mega excited for this episode. Our listeners are not going to know what's hit them. So how's things been with you guys? Nice and busy?
Yes, very busy, very busy. What about you? Getting busy before Christmas?
Absolutely. Yeah. All systems go at Studio Ninja as usual. And obviously I'm a wedding photographer, so all systems go on the wedding front as well. Winter weddings are in full force.
Honestly, I can't believe you do both. So impressive. What's helping you?
We'll get into that one a little bit later. I reckon, there's a slight hint there, I think. So Yotam, tell us about what you've done previous to ImagenAI, where your journey's taken you over the years.
Sure. So I was actually doing something completely else like a few years ago. I was focusing on developing hardware, which is like the small chips in the cameras, in the phones. And then about, I think 5 or 6 years ago, I think I first heard about AI and deep learning and saw some, nice applications of this technology. And I was mind blown, really. I just, I don't know if you or the listeners saw all the different things that can be done with AI, but it's really amazing. And I said, I have to stop everything that I'm currently doing and go back to university and study and deepening my knowledge in this technology, because it's amazing. It's going to change the world. So this was, I think, 5 or 6 years ago. I went back to do my thesis in Tel Aviv University in Israel. And it was actually focusing on deep learning, on machine learning, on artificial intelligence. And there I met Yoav, my co-founder. And he was actually researching on how to improve a photo using AI.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's a really nice coincidence that led us to start ImagenAI. And he got married at the same time. He had to wait a long time for his wedding photos to come back. And it was like an amazing, coincidence that he was actually studying the same thing, seeing that photographers are struggling so much time to edit their photos. Luckily, his photographer was eager to find a way to solve that. So he started working with him and he started developing it. We both finished our, thesis right more or less in the same time or on the same time. And it was about, I think, 5 months into developing or starting to look into this problem. And I just joined him. And yeah, that's the story. That's the origin, and that's where I come from.
Amazing. How about you, Zoe?
So I'm definitely not the techie brain behind anything. So I joined. So there are three founders who are based in Israel, and then I actually joined after that. And I basically joined to kind of help out on like the marketing and partnerships and branding and all of that. And I also kind of help with like the talent program that I'm sure we'll kind of talk about in a minute. So yeah, I definitely don't come from a techie background, but I mean, I'm very excited by the technology.
Definitely, it's mind-blowing, isn't it? So we've really got the perfect duo here with us today because we can cover all things ImagenAI. So that's amazing. So let's dive a bit deeper into ImagenAI. Yotam, what does it do? How does it work?
So connecting to the story before, so when we started speaking with, Yoav's photographer, wedding photographer, we realized a couple of things. First, that it's really important for the photographer to actually maintain his editing style. Mm-hmm. So he cannot just use some automatic tool to edit for him, because then he loses every personal touch, every branding, his value proposition. Mm-hmm. So he cannot actually use any automatic tools to do that. He was actually, his photographer was actually trying to teach an external editor how to edit like him, but he was never satisfied with the results. So all he got left is just keep editing his photos, and it takes about 14 hours to go over one photo and edit it. Mm-hmm. And that's actually an average for the amount of time it takes for a wedding photographer to go over a wedding. When we just started, it was important for us first to keep the editing personal. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't be like one way to edit for everyone. We realized it was really important for the photographer to be able to maintain control over the editing. So you can't just give him the photo in its final state. You have to set it inside the editing software and make sure that the final touch and the final tweaks can always be done, and everything is reversible. Mm-hmm. And the last thing is that we want to keep following the way the photographer changes his style over time. Mm-hmm. And want to make sure that we get better reflecting his editing style. Yeah. So with these three insights, we went along and we developed that. So we developed something that can actually get your photos, understand your style from your photos, the way you edit things. It will integrate to your editing software. We support Lightroom today, but we will support other editing software in the as we go. And you can fine-tune your profile. So once you finished editing your photos, you send the edits back to us. Mm-hmm. And with time, your profile will be more accurate, understanding your style, and will continue the evolution with your editing style.
Absolutely. So, photo editing to me seems it's nearly futuristic, isn't it? Like for somebody, a computer, if you like, to be able to edit your images and send them back to you, and that's it, it's done. And I remember discovering ImagenAI as a photographer and thinking, no way is this going to edit like I would, to the point where I could deliver it. And I was super pessimistic, and I was like, we'll see, because my editing style is quite difficult. I've had outsourced editors before that it's taken months, even nearly a year sometimes, for them to really get it right and to get inside my head. And I remember vividly downloading ImagenAI, creating my profile, which was back, like, it felt instantaneously. It was like under an hour that it was back with me. And I uploaded my first wedding. And I went down to my husband in the living room and I said, just discovered this software, and apparently it's going to edit it all for me and send it back, and it's pretty much done. And he was like, really? And I said, yeah, I've given it a go, so we'll see. And then I went to climb into bed 2 hours later, and there was an email, such and such's wedding has been edited and is ready for you. And I was like, what? So I went to bed really late that night because I was like, I've got to see what it's done. So I went back to the office, I downloaded the catalogue, and I was absolutely blown away. It was literally 99% there.
Oh, amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Zoe.
No, I forgot to say that part of my background is I'm also a photographer as well. And I was also mind blown when I first used it.
Yeah. Incredible, isn't it?
I think our favorite thing, we all love here at Imagen, is our favorite thing is to see reviews coming in. And usually it's the first reaction that a person has, because like you said, like it is this instant, like, oh my God, just a blown away reaction. And people actually genuinely want to tell us that they were blown away. So if you go onto like our trusted reviews site and, you know, the emails that we get, it's, yeah, every day we're seeing like people's first reactions, which is like a favorite thing to see.
Do you know what was amazing for me is, obviously, I mean, as photographers, you'll know, Zoe, like you get into your head about these things, don't you? And the tiniest things sometimes in business, and like you're like, yes, winner, like that makes my life so much easier. But I even then went and took my computer into my husband, who was in bed, and I was like, no, you need to see this.
Mostly.
Is your husband also like involved in editing or?
No, not at all. Not in the industry at all. He works in
just in your frustration about editing.
Yeah, definitely. And I took it into him, and he was like, "Oh my God, that looks like your photos. You've edited them." I was like, "I know."
It's your work. It's just learn. It's learn from you.
So yeah, from, you know, one photographer that, you know, I was super pessimistic. I was totally sat there thinking, you know, maybe it's going to get, you know, me a little bit of the way, but I'm still going to have to do tons to it. Wow, it was mind-blowing.
Yeah, a lot of people are like skeptical based on like the reviews that they actually see from us, and then when they use it, they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, people were telling the truth.
Well, I think I don't even know if, like, from my point of view, it wasn't skepticism about, you know, the business or what the software does. It's just, I think AI is still so new to people, isn't it? And you know, I think people see that and they're like, well, how is that even humanly possible?
Yeah, exactly.
How can that even happen?
Yeah, so we've actually been at some of our first wedding photography conferences recently, and people who haven't heard about us would come over and just like
really
like, I don't believe you guys, like, please, like, I don't believe you. And then you'd see their mind start to work and start to be like, wait, is this actually real? It's amazing seeing people's minds work like that. But yeah, no, I know AI is so new, so it's like actually just hard to believe.
Completely.
But believe it, baby.
Yeah.
And I just want to add that I'm really happy to hear your story, and it's really amazing. And we, as Zoe said, like we get feedback like that, like a lot, but we are really happy to hear that, and we are really fueled by that, because you know that's the reason we started with that, and we're actually in a field where we can, you know, we create a product, make a company that can actually change people's lives and make them better, which is really rare. You know, if you think about different companies, I mean, it's hard to find a company that actually makes good and makes the world better and saves a lot of people's lives. So we're really proud of that, and it makes us feel really good.
Yeah. So, like a key thing that we receive feedback about is the fact that people can just spend more time with their families, which is just an amazing thing, that like we are literally contributing to parents just being able to spend more time with their family. Like, you know, this is like even a thing like to think about just before Christmas time, right? It's like, hopefully that we are giving, especially after COVID and people had weddings pushed back. So, you know, people have been inundated with the amount of weddings they've had. I'm really hoping that, you know, we're going to allow people to actually spend Christmas with their family and just relax and, you know, enjoy themselves a little bit.
Well, as an example to that, Zoe, so as you know, I'm a wedding photographer, and I didn't have a huge amount of COVID pushbacks, but I certainly had a handful or two. My whole year wasn't wiped out, which was great. A lot of my couples kind of pursued just with the smaller numbers and things in the UK. But unfortunately, with how it fell, I had five weddings in 5 days recently, which was just crazy. And take me back a year, maybe even two, I actually don't know how I would have got through all those weddings, more so the editing side than the actual weddings themselves. Of course, I was exhausted afterwards, but it's then when you look and you just see this queue piling up with weddings to edit. 3 out of those 5 are already delivered thanks to Imagen's handiwork, and all of those will be delivered before Christmas Eve, which, you know, is amazing that I can literally switch off on Christmas Eve and go, I'm done.
That's honestly amazing for us to hear. Yeah. I can't believe you managed to do 5 weddings back to back.
You know, there's a lot of photographers doing that this year, especially. You know, the industry is just working flat out, aren't they, as a whole, just to try and, you know, keep up with this hell of a year that we've been given.
I know.
And do you get some time off now after Christmas, or? Are you still going to be like working like crazy?
No, during Christmas, because my editing's done, I'm good. I've got a lovely little holiday break from Studio Ninja 2, which is amazing. And then my goal is that all those weddings will be, all my weddings from the year will be delivered by the 24th of December. Nice little Christmas present to my couples to say, even my last wedding is this Saturday, the 18th. So that will be delivered by Christmas Eve.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, let's talk ImagenAI from a photographer's point of view. I've spoken from my personal experience. I absolutely love it. Why do you guys think that photographers need to be looking into Imagen if they aren't already?
Zoe, you want to take it?
Yeah. So firstly, I know for me, editing is a pain point. I think for photographers, I think you get to a certain point. So at the start, when you're building up your style, that's like the really enjoyable part. And most photographers do want to build up their own unique style. So once you've got that in place and you've got, okay, this is my unique style, I love it. Then it comes to like editing, maybe like in bulk, when you're editing a whole wedding, in my head, I would just wish that base was just done already. Yeah. Like if you've got your edit done, I would just wish that was kind of edited across the whole board. And unfortunately, for example, so with presets, as just an example, obviously if you get a preset, that's just like one set of parameters, right? So say you're editing a wedding and there's like all these different lighting conditions and different environments, you overlay that across the whole wedding, you're gonna end up tweaking, and you're gonna like Yotam said at the beginning, you're probably gonna spend an average of 14 hours or so anyway, just going and tweaking the white balance and the exposure and so on. So in my head, this is like the most revolutionary product because it is literally learning based on like the environments and lighting conditions as well. It's understanding if exposure needs changing. It's understanding if a white balance needs changing, and it's just going to do that, and it's going to upload and overlay that in seconds. And that just saves so much time and so much headaches. So yeah, I mean, in my head, that's why it's revolutionary. But yeah, I'll let Yotam speak for him as well.
Yeah, I think I totally agree. And I think that, if you do have the data set or the amount of photos needed to create your profile, you can just start with that. So, send us all the photos that you edited with a consistent style, and we can actually extract that into what we call a profile. And then you can, the AI actually understand what you're doing, extract it and save it into a profile, and you can edit with this profile. If you don't have the 5,000 examples right away, because you either don't save the photos after exporting them or anything like that, you can start with one of the talents that I think we'll speak about later, and start collecting and start having the catalogs for creating your profile. And with time, actually create your profile and be much more accurate and much more close to your actual final edits.
Yeah, definitely. Let's jump into that talents, because you've introduced it so beautifully by Yotam. Yeah. So we have the creator mode, that's right, isn't it? So creator is where you're an established photographer, you've got these 5,000 edited photos that you can go, this is how my images look, create my profile. The talents is more so for people that don't have that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you're exactly right. So for the creator profile, this is where photographers are coming in and creating their own profile based on their own edit. So for the creator profile, you will need a minimum of 5,000 photos for the AI to learn. The more the merrier. So if you have more photos, obviously the better. The AI is going to be learning from that. And then from that, you receive your own AI profile, which you can then overlay onto your new images. The talent profile, so that's more for someone who maybe is struggling with the consistency of their edit, and they, would like to use one of our already created talent profiles. Or if someone's maybe newer to photography and they just don't have 5,000 photos, like Yotam just mentioned. And these are, so our talents, these are already made AI profiles from professional photographers. And they've uploaded thousands and thousands of photos. I think one of them has uploaded 100,000 photos or something to create
even more, I think.
Maybe even more, to create. And obviously the more, like I said, is going to create the consistency, right? So this really allows people to, like I said at the beginning, to have that really consistent base. But then you can make them your own if you want. So you can, change the parameters once you've kind of overlaid the talent profile and, shift things up and make it your own. So we do have a priority at the moment that we are kind of getting more talents on board. And our priority is really kind of making sure that we've got a lot of different editing profiles, because everyone has like everyone's looking for like a different style. At the moment, I think we've only got about 6 or 7 talent profiles. So yeah, we're definitely building that up. Hopefully we'll get a lot of different styles for people to choose from.
Definitely. That was one of the things actually when I first discovered Imagen. My style, not necessarily unique or different in any way as such, but outsourced editors always used to struggle with the warmth of my images. They'd never get warm enough, if that would make sense. So they'd go to what they thought was really warm for an image, but actually I'm probably like another 4,000K above that. They're really warm. So the fact that Imagen just, saw that and got hold of that straight away. I think, if I remember rightly, the first wedding that came back and the second and third, I never had to touch white balance once. I never had to warm a single image up, which for me was the big pain point in all my editing experiences previously, that I was always going too cold, too cold, too cold. And it was just that my particular style was very, very warm. It also has a bit of matte to it as well, but recently that's changed a slight bit. We've kind of gone more on the contrasty side, but it's got a slight bit of matte built in as well, which was always a struggle for people to comprehend together. So yeah, the fact that it picked up on that and just it was just there across all the images was amazing.
That's amazing to hear. I think at the end of the day, like some people have, outsourced and they get it straight away, and that's amazing. But, at the end of the day, like you are teaching a human kind of your editing style. They might have their own kind of opinions on what the style is like. Whereas this is literally learning from your work. Like it's like we have this like tagline, which is like your talent powered by ImagenAI, because although, it's AI or, people might envision it as a robot, it's still learning from you. It's still your work. So it's, it's not going to like go crazy and do something else. It's learning the parameters that you're doing in Lightroom yourself. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great to hear.
Yeah, and that's I want to add on to this. So basically, I mean, we try to think of other companies that actually get data from users and create something personal. We didn't find any company. If you have like different ideas, we'll have to hear that. But I think we're very unique in that we get the data or the photos from the photographers, and we actually create a personal AI profile for each of the photographers.
Yeah.
So, and because of that, it's really, really important. And this is, I think, the most crucial point here, that the data is good.
Yeah.
So as Zoe mentioned, the more photos, the better. But they also should be very consistently edited.
Yeah.
So if you feel like you have not yet developed your consistent editing style, it might be better to start using the talent first.
Yeah.
And with time, find your voice or your unique editing style, and then create your profile. Because we have people, we try to explain that in the software. We still have people sending us, photos edited with like that they started editing with 2 different presets.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, the results wouldn't be that accurate, because they would be some kind of an average between the 2 presets, because the AI cannot actually understand when you want this preset and when you want this preset to start with. So, and that's a point that I think really worth emphasizing, that make the data consistent, make it also diverse. So the photos are shot also in like indoor, outdoor, night, day, everything. But the most important thing is that they are consistent.
Yeah, of course. It's a big thing, isn't it? I think is for photographers. I think when we start off, we do start with multiple presets, and even some companies that create presets, they create a daytime preset and a nighttime preset, or a yellowy tungsten light preset and a outdoor normal light preset. And I think that's kind of a habit that's difficult to break sometimes for photographers when they've got into that swing. But it was the best thing I ever did, was to just use the one preset. And then obviously it paid off dividends when I found Imagen, because I was like, right, simples, all done.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. Perfect. So what does the future of Imagen look like? What can we expect in the coming years?
So I just want to say, sorry, one more sentence about the talents.
Yeah.
So as Zoe mentioned, we have about, I think, 7 or 8 talents right in the system. We keep looking for new talents. So if you have someone that you really like his style and you think you would like to edit like him or like her, then just let us know. And actually, like her is more how do you say?
Important.
More important, because most of our talents currently are male.
Yeah.
So we're looking for female photographers. So let us know, because we are looking for photographers with a very good and unique editing style. And we would love to hear like offers from the audience.
Definitely. I'm sure you'll be flooded after this podcast goes out.
So sorry about the future of ImagenAI. So we plan so many things and we have so many things on our roadmap. And basically we want to keep helping photographers improve and get more efficient with their workflow. So, you know, next things that are coming soon will be around local adjustments, will be around masks, everything that involves that. We are working on a new UX experience. So, you know, the GUI would look much better. The GUI as it is now, it's very functional. You know, you have like all the functions that are needed, but it's not intuitive enough. So it doesn't explain itself enough. And it's really, I mean, it's kind of hard if you see it for the first time. So we are playing everything from scratch, and it should be like released in the next couple of months. And that's what I can tell now.
Yeah.
But we do have, you know, a roadmap for a couple of years to come.
Watch this space.
Yeah, exactly.
I just feel like I need to touch back. Local adjustments and masking automated.
Mind blowing.
Yeah.
See the shock on my face.
I know. I actually saw your face as I was like watching your face when Yotam said that.
Oh my goodness, that would be. I mean, Imagen's a game changer as it is, but that just takes it to a whole new level, doesn't it?
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
How much time do you spend on local adjustments like today?
Too much.
Too much. Yeah.
I do a lot of masking around the couple, darkening off the background, bringing the couple out a little bit more. I will do a lot of brushwork and things like that. So yeah, any of that can be already done within Imagen when it comes back would just be insane.
Yeah. It's funny because people come up to me and say, or like you might be like, you're never going to be able to do like the masking and local adjustments, right? And I'm like, actually, we're looking to help people with that.
We're trying.
I love that. So if there are photographers listening that haven't currently discovered Imagen, obviously they will be after this podcast. I'm sure they'll be heading straight to your website, or indeed photographers that are already using your software. What are some top tips that you can give them for making sure that they're using Imagen to its full potential?
So I think first, and I want to double down on that, make sure to send consistently edited photos. Make sure to send the final edits via the fine-tune option. So we keep improving your profile. I want to say some disclaimer about that, because many users were confused about that, and I guess we were not communicating this way enough. So the profile will not get better or will not change on each final edits you send, but only after we have couple of thousands of new edits, only then the profile would be updated with the new settings. So don't expect it to happen every time. If you feel like your editing has changed, for example, as you mentioned, like I have like winter weddings, which are completely different from my summer weddings. So sometimes it's better to create a new profile for that. But you can actually consult with us. We try to be very accessible. just email us at support@imagenai.com. Maybe we can put that somewhere later. And we try to be really accessible and available, and we try to answer quickly. So just consult with us about, whether I should have another profile, whether I should just keep sending my final edits and wait for the improvement. I mean, talk to us.
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing. So if you could start the business all over again, Yotam, is there anything you would do differently?
That's a tough question. We just started it like, a year and a half ago. So it's not such a long perspective.
That's a great
message. I think I'm really happy with where we are today.
I was going to say, if I was you, my answer would be, nope, we smashed it.
Yeah. I mean, at the beginning, we just started, when we just started ImagenAI, both Yoav and I got new babies born. So it was on the same time. It was the same time when the COVID actually started. So everything started at the same time. And at the beginning, we said, like, photographers are not doing anything right now. I mean, should we start a photography, something that helps photographers at this point in time? But eventually, I mean, it was really helpful because we had like time to develop the product and get it to a state where it's actually mature enough to be really valuable and helpful. And then by the time it was ready, photographers had so many projects they needed to edit because everything was actually, done on the same time. So I don't have to tell you about it, but so the backlog of editing was really big, and it really photographers were actually looking for solutions. So I think it was the right time for us to, launch and release ImagenAI.
Yeah, Imagen couldn't have come at a better time for our industry.
Yeah.
A lot of photographers from the UK have got in touch and said, I wish you guys just came 1 month before. Okay, we're here now, like we're here. But and also that's like a thing because obviously we work globally. Like the app works all around the world. So for example, now Australia, for example, is going to be going into peak season. So hopefully, we'll get more Australians kind of coming on board and seeing the value, and not just Australia, obviously, but based on kind of where summer and peak season is. But yeah, I found it funny that people from the UK were like, why didn't you launch 1 month earlier? But we'll see the next peak season as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And for all of them to come, I can't wait. So before we finish, do either of you have a final piece of advice, if you like, that maybe made a big difference to your careers, Imagen when you were setting Imagen up, or just something in your personal life that you feel would be great for our listeners to know?
Nugget of advice. I feel like Yotam, you can give more.
Okay, I'll take it. So I think, I don't know if I can advise anyone about life, but I think that what's really important, and I mentioned that my baby boy was just born at the same time that ImagenAI was born. So it's really important for me to to keep some kind of a work-life balance.
Absolutely.
And to make sure that I see him every day, and at least have a break sometimes in the day to meet him and to be with him. And usually when he goes to sleep, I go back to work, but at least I make sure that I see him. And I think that's basically our goal and mission at ImagenAI, to help photographers. I don't know if spend more time with family, but basically have more time to do the things that they want to do. And just a funny thing about that. So, most of the photographers are actually using the time to do different things, but we did hear some photographers using the time to actually edit. So instead of actually, editing in Lightroom, they now invest more time taking the photos to Photoshop and make sure and do some more local adjustments. So they still edit the same time, but they just make the photos much more. They edit the photos much more.
Yeah, more in detail, definitely. So
just on that, I think in my head, like I would just say, like, I think for a lot of photographers, and I think this is like just the nature of being a creative, I think it's really hard to feel like you're maybe losing control in some way. And I think the idea that you are going to be letting like ImagenAI, I guess, like take your edit and like do it for you. So I think some photographers get like this initial fear that like, oh, am I giving up some sort of control to something? But like Yotam just said, like actually in my head, it actually was revolutionary because it gave me more control, because I could have that base done and then I could go in and be like, well, actually I have more time now and I have more energy to like actually go in and make these photos even better if I wanted to. So I think that like, I think that would be like I guess like my nugget and my tip is like, it's, it's okay to like feel like someone's helping you or something is helping you. You don't have to do everything. I know like as a photographer, like you do feel like sometimes you need to do everything, but you don't, you can let things help you. So yeah, I think that's why.
What a bombshell. Perfect. So if our listeners would like to get in touch with you, discover more about Imagen, how can they do that?
So you can just go to the website. You can drop us an email at the support, and we are very on that all the time. So we see your emails all the time. And
we also have a Facebook community.
And Facebook community. Right. Sorry. This was your...
We've just launched very recently a Facebook community, and honestly, the community there is amazing already. Like everyone's so supportive and funny and wonderful. And we also have other social media accounts as well. At the moment, our Instagram has been
If anyone here knows anyone in Instagram, please contact us.
Please help us. We try to link up our Facebook page and our Instagram page very much like a normal thing to do, and for some reason Instagram didn't like that. So hopefully once our Instagram page is back, we could direct you there as well. But
love it.
Yeah, so the community, and that's really amazing. I mean, the community started about 2 weeks ago. We already have like thousands of people in the community, and the amazing thing, in my opinion, is the level of engagement. So people are really, they want to be part of the community. They want to show their work. They want to get tips, and that's really amazing for me.
Yeah. So on the community, we are we're like doing some weekly live streams with other photographers. We're posting tips of the day where we want people to share their editing style. So yeah, that's another place definitely where we would direct people to get in contact as well.
Amazing. What's the Facebook community group called?
So it's literally called ImagenAI Community. So I can also send you a link to that to put down as well.
Yeah, I'll put that in the show notes on the blog as well. That'd be wonderful. Well, goodness me, Yotam and Zoe, thank you so much for today. It's been incredible. It's an honor to chat with you both and to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for carving out the time to be with us.
Thank you, Sally.
Thank you, Sally, for hosting us. It was an honor to be on your podcast.
Yeah, so nice to meet you face to face rather than just emails back and forth.
Amazing. Well, hopefully when the world settles down a little bit, maybe we can all meet up together and have a drink sometime.
I'd love that.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. I'll catch you soon.
Happy Christmas.
You too.
Thanks. Happy Christmas. Bye.
Okay, guys, that's everything from me today. Isn't ImagenAI just the stuff of dreams? Like, absolutely game-changing for our industry. I cannot thank Yotam and Zoe enough for coming and telling us all about ImagenAI and what it's capable of, and also what's in store for the coming months. How exciting. If you would like to see some show notes, you can head to www.studioninja.co/episode 49. As always, please don't forget to rate us on the podcast platform that you're listening on. A little bit of love goes a very long way. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to this episode of NinjaCast, brought to you by Studio Ninja. Beautifully designed and super easy to use, Studio Ninja will help you manage your leads, clients, shoots, invoices, contracts, workflows, and so much more. To learn more or start your 30-day free trial, go to www.studioninja.co.